Well, years of state neglect and deplorable conditions are behind the surge in violence in the nation's prisons. Prisons Officers Association General Secretary Jared Gordon describes the conditions behind bars as living hell. Jonathan Chase reports.
Conditions at Remand Yard, Maximum Security Prison and Golden Grove Prison are deplorable.
That in 2013, you have a human being having to defecate in a bucket.
General Secretary of the Prisons Officers Association Jared Gordon says prisoners upset with their living conditions have turned against guards, but they are in no position to change things.
Because the officer has to work there too. So you have the inmates living in hell, and you have the officers who are being forced to work in hell.
He says complaints of late meals and prisoners not getting amenities usually extended to them are valid. He says things are likely to continue that way as long as overcrowding of the nation's prisons continues and as long as the ratio of prisons officers to inmates remains dangerously low.
How are we to carry out our mandate when successive governments and ministers and ministries have pushed aside those reasonable requests we have been making continuously to have improvements in our system?
Meals are now delayed because guards will not risk bending the rules like lifting morning lockdown in order to allow for food preparation work to begin early. He says the violence directed at officers means they will no longer put themselves at risk to do their job. A job, he says, that's getting harder and harder as the prison's population increases.
To cope with the increases that we have been having in the population, officers have been bending and breaking the prison regulations to get the job done. I think the murder of Andy Rogers was just the last straw.
The Prisons Officers Association says funding for prisons is down this year and is calling for the authorities to address the issues of overcrowding and understaffing. Jonathan Chase, CNews.